To all the people who still talk shit about the Avatar franchise, I got one thing to say to you: leave the fan base alone, bitch. Yeah, I think you all know what I'm referencing if you watch the movie. Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Studios here, and welcome to another movie review. And today, I'm going to be doing a review on Avatar: Fire and Ash. So, Avatar: Fire and Ash is the third installment in the Avatar franchise, and is directed once again by James Cameron, one of the greatest directors of all time. And it stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver, Stephen Lang, Una Chaplin, Jack Champion, Kate Winslet, Cliff Curtis, Jermaine Clement, Giovanni Ribisi, David Thewlis, Britain Dalton, Trinity Jolie Bliss, Bailey Bass, etc. And so the film tells a story taking place immediately after the events of Avatar: The Way of Water. This is essentially a part two of The Way of Water that focuses on the Sully family mourning. Should I drop something? Anyways, the Sully it focuses on the Sully family mourning for their loss of their eldest son Neteam, who died in the war against the RDA in the events of the last film. And yeah, the Sully family are currently at their lowest point, especially Loa, who believes that it was his fault that Neteam died, and he must learn to pretty much cope with the consequences, and pretty much he just questions whether or not he was responsible for Neteam's death or not. And so, while in the process of grief, there is a new threat on Pandora, the Ash people, a violent and power-hungry Navi tribe led by the ruthless Varang, who pretty much wants to destroy all hope for faith in Awa after a Awa did not listen to their prayers. And Varang also pretty much teams up with Quaritch to go against the Sully family after Kiri pretty much after they find out that Kiri has this connection with Awa that attracts the Ash clan, the Ash people to go against them. And so the Sully family must fight for their survival and the future of Pandora in conflict that pushes them to their emotional and physical limits. All right, guys. So yes, I know you guys have been waiting for me to do new videos, let alone the major ones. Like you've all been waiting for my top 10 best and worst movies of 2025, and I do apologize that I have not gotten into them yet, and I especially have not gotten into reviewing Avatar: Fire and Ash. As of right now, I've only seen this one time, and yeah, I actually was going to see it a second time first before reviewing it, but eventually I considered already reviewing Avatar: Fire and Ash ahead of time, because I changed my plans. I was originally going to see Avatar: Fire and Ash again on Friday, but then I found out like as I'm recording this, I'm currently here in Hong Kong on another pretty much end of my Christmas break trip until I go back to school next week. Um and and yeah, so I was gonna see Avatar: Fire and Ash on Friday. That was the plan. However, I found out that they re-released a certain movie called Belle. Belle, the Mamoru Hosoda movie. I said, if you guys remember my Scarlet Alexia reaction, I said that I was going to eventually watch Belle. Yeah, it's still really hard to watch Belle home, so I think that I feel like the cinemas is the only way I am going to see Belle. And I also am going to watch The Housemaid as well tomorrow. I'm going to be seeing The Housemaid in theaters. I have I watched The Housemaid online already, but I just want to see it in theaters because I think it is great enough for me to watch it in cinemas. And yeah, also, and by the way, I should mention as well that the price for Avatar Fire and Ash in the cinemas here, especially in 3D, it is way too overpriced. It is ridiculously overpriced. So that's why I decided, you know what, I won't see. I'll just watch it back in the Philippines. My plan as of right now is to see Avatar Fire and Ash on my birthday. Yep, on January 14th, my exact birthday, and then I'll watch, and then I'll see 28 years later the Bone Temple on. I was gonna see 20 years later the Bone Temple on the 14th, but I'm gonna see it one on the 16th, to me. So maybe plans gonna change, but I think I'd rather I get this review out of the way because I got other videos to make as well. Like my how do I say this? My top 10 best and worst movies of 2025. My list, my also I really need to review Stranger Things season 5 as well. And I got a special video for my birthday. I'm not sure if that special video will happen because on my birthday, yes, I will do a video, a big video on my birthday, but it's either that whatever video that's gonna be, which I won't disclose, or my Stranger Things season 5 review. But for one thing for sure, my season 5 review will drop in between the 12th, well, the weekend or my birthday. So yeah. So, anyways, on with talking about the movie itself. Now that I've talked about some updates on my channel, now, the Avatar trilogy is the most divisive. The Avatar franchise is the most divisive franchise of all time. I may have just referred to this as a trilogy, but honestly, I don't think it's gonna change with Avatar 4 and 5. Um, yeah, because yeah, let's be real here. This franchise has its haters, and there are a handful of people who it seems like they're not going to even try to give the Avatar franchise a chance. Yeah, the first Avatar movie, we all know that that is the highest grossing movie of all time. Well, unless if Endgame can go back to being the highest grossing movie of all time when it re-releases this September. And yes, guys, I will rewatch Endgame on its re-release this September. I 1,000,000% will. I mean, actually, I'd say 99% because what if it doesn't actually release in the Philippines? Because in the Philippines, there's barely any re-releases, so it's hard to predict which movie will get a re-release and which movie doesn't. I mean, Jaws did get a re-release. I just didn't have time to rewatch that, and so I decided to rewatch the home instead. And I wanted Back to the Future to get a re-release in the Philippines when it did in the US, but unfortunately it didn't. So I'm not gonna guarantee that Endgame will, but I pray to God it will. But yes, as of right now, yes, Avatar is the highest grossing movie of all time, and it's also one of the most divisive movies ever. You got the people, you got huge fans of it, and then you got people who say it's the most overrated movie ever. Yeah, yeah, and then you got Avatar, The Way of Water, which is just as divisive, if not even more divisive than than the first Avatar movie. Yeah, The Way of Water. There are some people who said that The Way of Water was a step down from the first, and it actually gets more hate as time goes on. But then you got people who just absolutely adore Avatar: The Way of Water, like I did. And yeah, yes, Avatar is indeed the most divisive franchise of all time, and I think the reviews for Fire and Ashes prove it because even the score, critics are calling it underwhelming and the worst of the Avatar. Even some of the defenders of the first two films were let down by this. As for me personally, yes, guys, I am a massive fan of the Avatar franchise. It is in my top 10 favorite franchises of all time. Maybe not top 5. Yes, there are better franchises out there I can name, like the Frozen franchise, the MCU. MCU is arguably my favorite franchise of all time. Or maybe Frozen, but I'm debating on which one I would put above the other. I forgot what my full list was like, but maybe at some point Avatar could be my top five franchise of all time. But I will have to rethink about it. I actually, come to think of it, I already forgot what I put on my list. I just besides Frozen and MCU. Oh, but whatever. We're talking about Avatar, not franchises. So yeah. The first Avatar movie I is still my favorite movie of 2009 to this very day. Um, I was considering changing my mind on it. But eventually, yeah, it is. I still think Avatar is the best movie of 2009. Avatar: The Way of Water nowadays does not hold up as my favorite movie of 2022. It was for the longest time, but now Everything Ever All at Once would be my favorite movie of 2022 because that movie still hits. And it is my favorite live action movie as of right now. But to be honest, I think it needs Everything Ever All at Once needs a rewatch to see if it can hold up as my favorite as my favorite live action movie. Yeah, and Avatar: Fire and Ash, I did consider this as my one of my most anticipated movies of 2025 for damn sure. I know a lot of people had this at their number one most anticipated movie of 2025. Yeah, so the day when I saw Avatar: Fire and Ash was opening day in on December 19th. I saw this in London in Vu Cinemas. Unfortunately, and yeah, it wasn't. Yes, it wasn't 3D. But regular 3D unfortunately wasn't IMAX. Everyone says that this movie is IMAX worthy. Uh, Even though it was technically not shot with IMAX cameras, not shot with IMAX cameras. I mean, people say it's worth it for the 3D, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So rewatch, and yeah, and yes, I know one of the biggest marketing tactics for this movie is to it is the trailer for Avengers Doomsday as well as the the prologue of the Odyssey. Unfortunately, I did not get the prologue itself, but instead, what I got in my showing of Avatar: Fire and Ash was the teaser trailer for the Odyssey. You know, the one that dropped online. I actually got to see that in advance. I didn't even know that was going to be the online trailer. Because given how it was a short teaser that was just like a teaser, I thought it was the teaser that played last summer for Jurassic World: The Rebirth. Yes, but then when I saw the trailer online, the other trailer was like, oh, this is the one I got in my showing of Fire and Ash. So I was lucky enough for that without even realizing it. So, and by the way, guys, you didn't tell me I'm going off topic. Technically, it is in topic because again, wanna people because Odyssey and Doomsday are very much associated with Fire and Ash. But now let's talk about my thoughts on the movie itself. So, what did I think of Avatar: Fire and Ash? Yeah, Avatar: Fire and Ash to me fucking lived up to the hype. I absolutely loved it. This is the best in the Avatar trilogy yet, and my favorite James Cameron movie. It has officially dethroned Avatar: The Way of Water for that title. Arguably, the biggest criticism with this movie is that it's basically style over substance. Like, and well, outside of that, the uh, the biggest criticism I hear about this movie is that the story is just the exact same thing as Avatar: The Way of Water, and yeah, technically it is similar, but this was a part two of that film, so just keep in mind. In fact, there is actually a reason as to why this is very similar to The Way of Water. there's actually a valid reason for it. I will get to that later. Before I continue on, I just want to let you all know that I will be spoiling things in this movie. In this review, I will be giving away spoilers because it's been like almost a month now since this movie came out in theaters. I think 3 weeks, yeah. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, it's kind of your fault. It's kind of it's all your fault. But yeah. Anyway, so as expected in an Avatar movie, the visuals are once again a game changer, and I gotta say, this is now officially the most visually stunning movie ever made. I mean, these Avatar movies, right off the bat, are already the most visually stunning movies ever. They have the best CGI ever, and yeah, this is why James Cameron is the king of the world because just he knows how to do visual storytelling. I mean, I'd say Nolan is also a visual storyteller, and but Nolan's movies are more so plot over visuals. I mean, Nolan's movies do have incredible visuals, but it's the writing that makes Nolan's movies so special. When it comes to James Cameron films, it's the visuals. And this is the reason why the first Avatar movie is the highest grossing movie of all time. It's because of the visuals. The CGI of the Navi is just perfect, and the visuals created for the world of Pandora is just also perfect. But the film goes beyond amazing visuals. And we're still talking about visuals, by the way, like, and some stuff around it. Um, the first two Avatar movies have don't really have a lot of action scenes. I mean, they have huge action scenes, but they do take long breaks in between. But in this movie, there is so much action scenes, and I mean a hell lot of them. And The action scenes in the amount of action we get in this movie it's triple times as much as the first two. The film wastes no time as we already get huge action set pieces 20 minutes in. When it comes to the scope and the scale, this is the biggest one yet. The stakes are raised higher than ever. The final battle raises the scale up to 1,000, and it is literally almost as huge as the climax in Avengers: Infinity War, maybe even Endgame. Endgame still has the biggest final battle in cinema history. Oh wait, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King technically, but this is on the same level as Infinity War. Yeah, sure, yes. The final battle is pretty much where it's the most noticeable that this movie is very similar to The Way of Water, but I think it's done better in this one. And unlike what the toxic haters of these Avatar movies say, I still see the substance in here. The film is it's a character-driven story that tackles grief and themes of grief and faith. The death of Nateyam, the eldest Sully's son, in The Way of Water, is the most important plot line that builds into this film's storyline. The beginning of the film shows that the characters at their lowest point as they're still grieving for the death of Nateyam. It's a very similar case to the characterization of Max Mayfield from Stranger Things season 4 and Dustin Henderson from Stranger Things season 5, where the characters have this grieving look and they hardly smile. Even if the solid kids are flying around and seem excited, you still get a sense of them not being as excited as they look because they're still grieving for Natea. The character developments are the driving force of the story, and they are done so brilliantly well. The Way of Water already had me invested in the solid children like Lowak, uh, um, Talk, yeah, Talk, the youngest one. Is her name Talk? Did I get that right or wrong? And especially Kiri, which Kiri is my favorite character in the Avatar movies. Oh yeah. Her name is Took. I just it just clicked with me. Yeah, I'm right. But yeah, Kiri is my favorite character in The Way of Water, and she is my favorite character in Avatar: Fire and Ash too. So yeah, and so given how good the Way of Water got me to care about these kids, they take the spotlight as the main characters of the film, and it is earned. Lowak in particular is the main character in the film, and Spider gets a lot of focus too. After the death of the Dayam, Lowak is now determined to lead the Solid Kids, and he goes on a journey to prove that he has what it takes. But uh, then he sees himself as the blame for Nadayam's death. Like, there's a scene in the film, which, by the way, is arguably my favorite scene in the film, where Lowak attempts to shoot himself after he gets rejected by the clan for supporting the Pakayam, like the outcasts whale, and also Sali getting mad at Lowak and stuff, and so Lowak like tries to point a gun at himself about to commit suicide, but then thankfully we get Kiri and Tireya to come to Lowak and pretty much comfort him. That was freaking dark. And yes, guys, this is the darkest film in the Avatar franchise yet. And also, viewers will get to know more about who Spire is and how he deals with the fact that Quaritch is his father, and where he truly belongs. And that pretty much that's pretty much one of the movie's messages in the movie. You can have your you can be part of a family who's different from you, because family is not always about blood and about having the same identity. Family is more than that. Although Jake and Theory are supporting characters now, they do not feel wasted at all. Jake's grief has gotten in the way of him being a good father, as he blames Loak for Nathaniel's death, and even questions Awa. And so he must learn to become a better father and have better faith as the film goes on. Neytiri also goes through an arc of learning to accept her family, no matter how different some of them are. Specifically, Spider. She still has some prejudice with humans after they try to burn down the forest in the first film, and so she doesn't like Spider because he's a human, and so she must accept that not all humans are bad. And yes, I mentioned earlier on in the review that one of the film's themes is faith. This film has a religious allegory in the film involving Awa. The film questions if there is any faith left in Awa, or has Awa turned against her people. And that's especially the case for Awa. Kiri tries to reach out for Awa to ask for help, but Awa keeps pushing her away, which is pretty much the motivation of the film's new villain, Varang. Which I'll get to Varang in a bit. And so Kiri goes through the whole movie of pretty much trying to learn what she's capable of, and learn that she pretty much has an association with Awa, and we also and Kiri gets to learn the truth about who she actually is, and pretty much I'll just say she's more than just being the mother of Sigourney Weaver's character in the first Avatar. She gets just as much focus as a Logan Spider, and yeah, and also there is a scene which is also another one of my absolute favorite scenes in the film, when after successfully reaching out to Awa, Kiri is given some sort of power on her tail and uses it to kind of defeat Varang. Well, technically she did defeat Varang, but Varang isn't really down yet, so I do think Varang will be the main villain of Avatar for a while. I'll talk more about that in a bit. Oh, and also, I love how I love how I was gonna say, I forget. But oh yeah, let's talk about Varang. Varang is the best movie villain of the year. Now, not necessarily my favorite villain of the year. That would go to Henry Creel slash Vecna from Stranger Things 5. But Varang is the movie villain of the year. Like holy shit, Varang is amazing. She she truly is more threatening and evil, and but even though she is truly evil and you want to see her defeated, she's also a very sympathetic villain, and and she also had the backstory which was explained in the trailer. And yeah, and although Varang shined more as the superior villain in the film, Quaritch is still an incredible villain, and he doesn't really get overshadowed as the main villain of the film because he still is the main villain. But I do think he might actually be dead. Remember in the second film where we all thought that Quaritch is dead, but then the actual ending of the film revealed that he is still alive. Well, in this one, he in this one, yeah, he how do I say this? He falls from the sky, and falls into the fire. So I think that should be an indication that he's dead. But then I won't be surprised if he comes back to Avatar 4. I actually do have some theories on Avatar 4 and 5, but I'll get to them in the end. Yeah. So yeah, and speaking of deaths in the film, Ronald's death hit the hardest as she dies while giving birth to a new child. I forgot the child's name, by the way. And the child is adopted by the Sully family, and so I think Avatar 4 will have a major plot line on that. I'd argue that Ronald's death is the most emotional death of the franchise, of the Avatar franchise, even more so than the Dayan from the last film. And also, I also gotta talk about the thing about this being a rehash of the Way of Water. I have to mention this as well. Now I thought about it. I didn't mention this in my initial review on Letterboxd, but there's a reason as to why this movie is similar to Way of Water. Because one of the major themes this movie tackles is about repetitive war, and that this you have to be prepared for things that repeat itself. You have to be prepared for history that repeats itself, and so this movie is is about preparing for the same war because despite the death and the coming of a new threat, the Sky People are still planning to do the same things. And so when you're facing an enemy and you don't get a chance to defeat them, they'll still come back for you. So that's why this movie is similar to Way of Water, and the final battle is similar to Way of Water because our main characters are dealing with the same battle, so and they must be prepared to face it one more time. And yeah, and my last point I want to make is the song "Dream as One" by Miley Cyrus. Now it is a great song. It's Miley Cyrus's best song yet, and best song yet. But I will say that the song is a step down from the Way of Water's song "Nothing Is Lost." You gave me strength from the last film, and that's no competition. I'm not sure which song I prefer, this or ICU from Lin Noah Lewis in the first film, but yeah, Nothing Is Lost is still the best song Avatar song yet. So overall, Avatar Fire and Ash is everything I wanted an Avatar movie to be and more, and it shows how this franchise just keeps getting better and better with every new entry, and I think it might be the case with Avatar 4 and 5. It's a shame that the Avatar hate base did not bother to give us a chance and decided to hate on it just because they hated the first two and want this franchise to burn into ashes. And it's also a shame to see the critics being mixed on this, unlike the first two. And SpongeBob Movie Search for SquarePants even has a higher rating than this. The fact that a lot of people I know saw Search for SquarePants first before this is just beyond me. And yeah, and also it's a shame that this is already the lowest grossing Avatar movie at the box office. It's already hit $1 billion, but it's tracking to be the first Avatar movie to not cross $1 billion, and man, that is a freaking shame. So yeah, guys. Hopefully this can actually hit 2 billion and will prove the box office forecasters are wrong. So please support this movie and do not listen to the toxic hate. Now, I will say there are better movies to come out in 2025, like Zootopia 2, Sinners, and Thunderbolts. I'm debating between this or Wicked for Good. Initially, I put Wicked for Good over this one, but when I rewatched the Wicked for Good, like recently, I'm like, I think Avatar: Fire and Ash might be better. I will rewatch this movie on my birthday, so you'll see for myself which one I end up preferring, this or Wicked for Good. But spoiler alert, in my top 10 favorite movies of 2025 list, I will be putting Wicked for Good above this one. But again, that might change. So that said, guys, I'm going to give Avatar Fire and Ash a 5 out of 5 stars. So for my review of Avatar Fire and Ash, what are your thoughts on the movie? Would you agree with me that this is a masterpiece and the best Avatar movie yet? Would you rank this in the middle between the first two films, or would you say that you did not like this and would consider it as the worst one in the trilogy? Comment. Oh, and also by the way, speaking of which, yeah, I just want to give some a quick theory Avatar 45. I think Quaritch is really dead. Thinking about it, I believe Quaritch is actually dead. I will not be surprised if he comes back, but I think Varang will be the main villain of Avatar 4. Oh, and also I heard Avatar Kiri will be the main character of Avatar 4. Sign me the fuck up for it. Yeah, that just made me even more hyped for Avatar 4. Yeah, and yeah, Avatar 4 is currently my most anticipated movie of 2029. Although I did hear rumors that the X-Men reboot would come out in 2029. And if that actually happens, then yeah, I'll put the X-Men reboot as my most anticipated movie of 2029. And yeah. And as for Avatar 5, I think they will kill off Sully and Neytiri. Eventually, they're gonna kill them off. So anyways, yeah. That's all for it. Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my top 10 best movies of 2025. Bye, guys.